But another time I was and left them bring the cat out of the envelope. And I know we won't pass the bus, but even if
Shirt already? Shirt already? Nice.
How you doing?
Oh, thank you. Oh, I know.
And we didn't even get any,
Oh, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it's supposed to be a surprise.
Decent amount.
I don't see them anyway. On time I get out, it's if I have to take mom somewhere. Dad's coming up here tonight.
What?
Well, you need to show up, right?
Well,
just to show up when I have one.
I'm not living there, but I'm staying. Out by the plant.
Well, Dave, how are you doing?
From there.
I'm good right here.
From the lake, it was in her backyard.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, that water is.
Down there. There you go. Do you need help?
Do I need help? Is that a question?
Yes. I answered for you.
There's two back there. One more. We have
Unless it gets into a 2 hour, 3 hour,
Then you can have this and goes out later. Mom's at the house by herself, so I have to make her.
Are you snappy about it?
You're on everything. Oh, yeah?
I'm on
Usually goes to economic development, but he said he wasn't going this year, and then one must change his mind. He was going, he thought he went to go. And he's still there. And he's still there.
Yeah, that's right.
He was still there tonight, so I'm thinking.
Thank you for your patience. Lord Fair, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, please be seated.
All right, you ready? Mary?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes.
Loretta?
Yes.
Susie? Yes. Jerry?
Yes.
Val?
Yes.
All right, do we have a, motion to accept the minutes from last month?
So moved.
Thank you.
Brenda was giving me a look.
Never. All right. Val?
Yes.
Jerry? Susie?
Yes.
Loretta?
Yes.
Derek?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
There you go. And a motion to pay bills.
Second. Derek?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Susie?
Yes.
Loretta?
Yes.
Jerry? Val?
Yes.
And as of this afternoon, we had no requests for comments from citizens. We will move on to guest comments from Fiscal Engineering.
All right, we'll start with going through the updates on the list of tasks that we've been contracted to do. Go to the, just a quick rundown here of the single front and back paper. Tasks 1 and 2, that was OEPA coordination on the NPDES permit. Those tasks are completed. Now we'll get into what we've been working on since July. Tasks 3 through 8, which is GIS and GPS mapping of the wastewater and drinking water system. We are over 90% complete with that. We are doing some minor tweaks. We've met with Jay about a few weeks ago to kind of go over some of the high points. Jay's provided some feedback. We're working on again on some minor tweaking. Also, Jay is looking into purchasing the subscription to move it from the Wessler files over into your files. So Jay, I don't know if is that moved forward?
I have not yet.
Okay. But yeah, that's one. I think that's pretty much the remaining thing is the Forest to purchase a subscription for ArcGIS online. And when that occurs, we will move it from Wessler's files over to the Forest files. And at that point, it is now your mapping. Jay can take it out into the field. You and your staff can edit data, insert data, pull data, run maps. We have trainings available. On call, we have a task included in there for that as well. So that's where that stands. I printed out a map that you guys can kind of see. That's of your wastewater system. We've got another one similar for the drinking water system. That's just for reference. What you can do on the GIS online is you can track almost all kinds of data. You can create all different kinds of maps for general use. If you want to do inspections or any kind of field service work, you can create it for that, such as valve exercising, hydrant flushing. All that kind of data is in there, including pipe materials, pipe sizes. If you guys have been tasked to do lead line services, we can create maps for those that you can then submit to OEPA. And what this is nice is, for now, once it's in your system, it's there forever as long as you have a subscription. That is your data, that is your information. And you don't need to hire anybody else, hopefully in the future, to recreate it. It can all be done now in-house, be edited and pulled when needed. Moving on to tasks 9 and 10, that is the sanitary sewer ordinance review and local limits evaluation. We have the sanitary sewer ordinance drafted. It is being reviewed right now. We'll be reaching out to you, Jay, probably the next couple of weeks to send you over the draft and then have a group discussion on it. The local limits evaluation is currently being performed right now. I sent an email to you about, I think, last week about a list of questions that our environmental group had. What the local limits evaluation is trying to get a general overview of your commercial and industrial users in town. You have metals limits on your NPDES permit. It's trying to get an idea of where they could potentially be coming from. And then therefore, as we compile those different flows, those concentrations of contaminants, we evaluate your system as a whole, and we can create local limits of what we think you guys are capable of treating or capable of imposing on your pretreatment users, which you only have one as of right now, which is Triumph. So what that local limits will allow you to do when completed, you can then first of all compare it to what the OEPA gives Triumph on their pretreatment program. So they have limits that they have to hit before they can even discharge into your collection system. You can compare your local limits to what the OEPA says is acceptable, They should be about the same, but it could be different. But then what you can do is you can potentially challenge OEPA. If you think the OEPA is maybe too lenient on Triumph, then you can impose your own local limits in your ordinance. And that gives you justification to say, hey, Triumph, I know OEPA says, for example, I'm just gonna say, you can discharge 10 milligrams per liter into the system. We think you can only discharge 8. And your local limits will actually supersede OEPA limits. And that local limit evaluation will give you justification to do so. So are there any questions, I guess, on those two items?
And these things are driven by the OEPA. This study, the reason we're paying you is because the OEPA says you gotta do this. So it's not just because we've got money laying around and we think, well, what's Wessler Engineering doing?
It all kind of comes together, right? So OEPA says you have to make certain improvements into your collection system, which is what this report kind of, I'll get to here in a minute. That's the collection system issues that you guys are experiencing. But then you also have limits over at your lagoons, and that's driving a lot of this work. Just to kind of refresh everybody, the village is under a schedule of compliance, meaning the lagoons are not performing up to OEPA regulation, and they are going to be mandating changes. Right now, the schedule of compliance is the first step in that. And so we're trying to work within the schedule that the OEPA has handed the village in order to become compliant again with their regulation. That was task 1 and 2 when we, Dave, Sean, and then at the end Jay there, had multiple meetings with OEPA trying to understand the permit, where it came from, and we kind of negotiated this current setup and deal. Where if instead of posing all their limits now, this year, for the next 4 years, they pushed a lot of their limits off until the next permit cycle. The collection system, task 11, I'll come back to that one. We'll jump down to task 12, which is the stormwater utility formation. That has been put on hold. That is not being driven by the OEPA. That was just something that we've discussed, I think, with Sean and Jay and Dave, that maybe it's something to look into. But as of right now, we're going to try and tackle what is needed first, and then we'll come and revisit that here in maybe 3 to 4 months. Then task 13, that is the large report that summarizes a lot of this work. That PER is what is being required by the OEPA to be completed by July or August as part of their schedule. The PER summarizes the state of the collection system, it summarizes the state of the lagoons. We are going to evaluate multiple alternatives to correct the collection and lagoon system treatments. It'll come with costs. Once that report is completed, we will then offer it up. It has to be offered to the public for public comments as we move forward. From there, you can start taking that report to funding agencies and presenting it to the funding arm of OEPA. You can start taking that to CDBG, and some of the other, rural water, anywhere that you can start applying for grants, principal forgiveness. That report is written in a format that allows you to do so. Now, are there any questions for all those other tasks before we kind of jump into the draft field services report? Okay. And this here is task 11. This is only the report portion. I did not print out the full appendice. Overall, the full report will be over 300 pages, where we went through in the field. We inspected all of your gravity manholes. We televised about 5,000 feet of both sanitary sewer and some areas of your storm sewer. We've also smoke tested the entire gravity system, all trying to get a good assessment of what you have, what is the condition of your collection system, and how do we devise a plan for any target big rehab jobs. And good news is your gravity system is actually in pretty good shape. The biggest issues that we ran across were a lot of debris in your sewers. It made it very difficult to televise, but you guys do have a jetter truck that now I believe you've got staff trained to utilize it. At the time when we first were out in the field doing it, A lot of that was pretty new, you had new staff. We weren't able to clean, but we did what we could. But that was the only thing we really saw from the public side of things. In terms of issues, significant issues on the private side of the sanitary sewer. A lot of defective laterals, cleanouts that are big sources of I&I, as well as potential illicit tie-ins to your sanitary system and sewer storm system. That was one big key that the OEPA has. You have an SSO, a sanitary sewer overflow, or at least a source of sanitary water getting into your storm system. That is in the schedule of compliance to address, and we tried to locate it. We've televised and inspected the areas in question. Fortunately, we were able to find 2 direct tie-ins that were previously plugged probably around 20 years ago, and those plugs have failed. So you are getting, that's 2 sources of sanitary sewer getting into your stormwater sewer. Is that everything? We don't know. We don't know if anybody else is tied in. It just requires more inspection, more evaluation that could be done by the village. One thing we have not done would be dye testing of individual homes, inspection of individual homes' private sewer home connections. Again, that's not something that we could do, but we wouldn't do that alone. We would need a lot of your support to help do some of that, and probably some local plumbers. But I would say it's all about trying to creating the building blocks to eventually find how sanitary water is getting into the storm system. And so like you start with what we know, and that's 2 direct tie-ins that have plugged, but they're failed. So that's part of our recommendation: repair, replug, and make sure that they are not the source, or eliminate those sources, and then you take it to the next step. Did we solve that issue? Was that the only source, or is there somebody else tied in? From what we found, there's downspouts tied in directly into your sanitary system. That means it's just rainwater getting in with all the defective laterals, defective cleanouts. There's a decent amount of I&I getting into your sanitary system. Not super critical, however, you're treating rainwater, and that has a cost to it. You're pumping rainwater, and that's got a cost to it. So again, it's just the private side is where you'll need to develop some kind of a plan to look at how are we going to get downspouts off the sanitary system. How are we going to look at getting cleanouts and laterals repaired or replaced? And those are questions that as a council you'll need to consider and look at in the future. So I know this report, I just gave it to Jay today. If you want to see the full report, I sent that to Jay as well. He can share it to whoever wants to see it, look at some of the pictures, a lot of our other findings. I've summarized a lot of them here in this report. Are there any questions as what we've done on the field service side, mapping side, or how all this ties in to the OEPA?
Well, I guess the big question is, this will put us in compliance and get them off our back.
Yes, all right, they want to see action, and the village has taken action. That's why you probably haven't heard much from them in a while. All right, they are waiting on they're waiting on the findings of this report, they're waiting on the PER, and as long as the village continues to move forward, make corrective action that we are trying to address these issues, you typically won't see any issues from the OEPA.
That's good.
And you have a new inspector for the county. I think she's been there for almost a year now, Catherine Robertson. As so far, she's indicated no frustration with the village.
Yeah.
She's just happy you're taking the steps to move forward and getting things addressed. Unfortunately, collection system issues, they're finicky. You got over 10,000 feet of just gravity sewer, not even looking at the vacuum system sewer. There's a lot of issues and little things that can happen in over 10,000 feet of sewer lines. That's not even storm lines. And so sometimes it just takes time finding and resolving these issues. We've already located a few big ones outlined in the report if you read them. But as for, are we gonna find the source of the sanitary getting into the storm? Again, it's trial and error. You tackle what we know, and we keep looking. Update on the vacuum system line, I guess, for the PER. We've met with Triple Point, they're a lagoon equipment treatment supplier manufacturer. They've already kind of started the quote process. We have meetings with E1, which is a low pressure system. These would be alternative, that would be an alternative to replace the vacuum system. We're already starting to map out a potential new gravity system to replace the vacuum system, and we've got a meeting scheduled with Airvac to repair and replace the vacuum system. These are all the alternatives we're looking out on the east side of town to address those issues out there. So with that, I don't have anything more to add. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly, reach out to Jay. Feel free to send over any questions or give us a call. We'll be happy to answer any that you may have.
Very good. Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. All right, old business, we have the final reading for ordinance 2432, and that basically relates to Lee's grass in the village, and call this for the reading, and we will go to a vote.
Well, that's me.
Well, do we have
Sounds
to
good.
motion to
Do you have
approve it
the
though?
motion?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll move.
Thanks.
I'll second.
All right, let's get our vote on. Gary? Susie? Jerry? Mary? Val?
Yes.
Loretta?
Yes.
No. I'll treasure it always.
Mr. Book, don't forget to sign it, and Derek sign it. I think we're just you on that. Thank you.
Probably needs to be whoever's elected the new president.
Well, that's up for business. First thing is, Brandon, you have a proposal for a new website provider?
Yes, so, it should be floating around up there. I think one of the ongoing concerns is communication. Our website hasn't always been the most effective, and then we relied on Facebook, and so we have talked in a couple different groups, committees about trying to build up the website for that to be the primary place to go get the information, calendars, all that kind of stuff. The one we have right now is just not user-friendly. So I met with 2 different providers about redoing and taking on our website, and I was proposing that we go forward with the Pixel Fire design. The price is very consistent with what we're paying now, roughly $160 a month, but we can do add-ons, like for the calendar and things like that. And with this provider, I just give them the information and they make it all pretty. There's compliance issues with our current website that we're not in. So the other provider that I met with, again, it would be basically someone here uploading and not, they're just kind of a host, and it's the same price. So that was what I was hoping we could go forward with. And it can still link to our billing, it can still do all our links, but I think it's a step in the right direction to help with the communication, community.
Do they have a website that they're currently doing right now where we could go to it and see?
Yeah, I can send you a list.
Is this gonna put us
in any issue with G-Works? Like, we don't have any contract with them or anything,
No,
right?
So I spoke with G-Works, I think I just have to send a letter with an end date and then everything's good to go. Yeah. Forgot that part, I did check on that.
That's okay.
Something we wanna do some homework on, or do we wanna move on that, or?
I'd like to take a look at the ones they've got, just before I go on it. I don't know about you.
Makes sense.
Alright, I will email, everybody what I got.
And I would advise you when you, if you're comparing this website to other ones, look at it on a computer, look at it on your phone. If you can't view it equally on both, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not ADA accessible, that's what she was
Yes.
talking about. We're not, even though you think of ADA as like handicap wheelchairs, websites also have to be ADA accessible, and ours is not. They have to be viewable from any type of device, they have to be able to be viewed by people that are colorblind, et cetera, they're, you know.
And both the providers that I met with did say, you know, ours obviously is not, compliant, so they both addressed that.
So G-Works is who's doing it now?
So G-Works is like the host, and they just give templates, and I go in and I have to put the information in there. And it's not user-friendly. Both of the companies that I met with had gone onto our website, and they're like, oh goodness. And the customer support to get help, to try to do anything to our website, I don't get the response, so it's very difficult. There's things I'll post and then it's not showing and then it'll go over, it's very awkward. And so, you know, one of the things with Facebook and everything, I just think it'd be nice to spend the money with everybody saying communication, have one spot where everything is current and in compliance and updated. Cause right now it's really hard.
Is it, do you know if it's set up so that if you post to our website, it automatically falls onto our social, website?
I don't,
I'm assuming that would be an add-in.
that would probably be an add-on, and the problem is the way the website, cause you post on the different pages, so I don't know how that would actually work.
Because if it doesn't, then that leaves social pages and still needing to be, to post the updates.
Cause I'll be honest, most of the things I post, I don't do it on the Facebook page, I put it on the website, is what we've been trying to do. Unless it's like events or new things or like an emergency or snow, like you put on there, but a lot of the information I'm trying to put in one spot on, the website.
Yeah, I think the intent was to have the website as the hub of all communications through the village.
Which makes sense, because that's something that the village owns versus Facebook, which is kind of Wild West, so.
It won't be connected with Facebook, is that correct?
Correct. Right.
A lot of people don't have Facebook.
Old people don't like it. I don't want it.
Younger people don't either.
Yeah,
No, they don't.
I did Twitter.
I don't know if you guys know, but the
Snapchat.
Kenton Times also offers this service for like not a lot of money. They will do your website for you for a really low monthly fee if you give them a budget you're looking at. And they can connect all your social media to do it all in one thing, where instead of posting the actual message, it'll just give you the link that there's an update on the website to take them directly to your website. But Kent Times, I mean, they're local and they do a really good job, and they do a lot of our county businesses and elsewhere. That might be another WKTN to see what they can do. They might be able to match those prices or do it cheaper since they know we're a small village.
Good to know.
And this is a local provider as well.
Okay. All right, we've got some things to do tonight, business, things to do tonight. First off is council needs to elect a president.
Do we have to do it every year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm okay with it. I don't want
Is
it.
that a second?
Take that as
Does
a
anybody
second.
want it besides Derek? I mean, you know. Nobody wanted to go that far. Well, I'll second Derek. Anybody else have anything to add?
You just need a vote.
Alright. Jerry?
Yep.
Susie?
Yes.
Loretta?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Val?
Yep.
I'm assuming Derek, do you wanna vote for
Abstain.
yourself? Yeah, figured.
Would've been better if you said no.
Thank you, I accept.
Thank you. I handed out the proposed committee appointments, and I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to rebellion. Well, not so much rebellion, but,
For service, can we have a, service worker appointed as well?
Mark, what you doing?
I'll be quiet back here.
I think you just got appointed.
Sure.
You made the mistake of showing up.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
And, business and industrial, we're only allowed to have 3, council members on each committee, or else it's a quorum and it's a council meeting, so.
Thank you, that's a good point. Well, there's 4 names on there, who wants to? No, I got you as chair, so I don't want you to go
I was
anywhere.
gonna say, you want to?
No.
You let me alternate.
Okay. So it'll be, Val, Mary, and Derek.
You gotta be in this for safety business, I don't mind being on.
Yeah, those are just kinda givens.
What committee was that you guys just talked about taking somebody off?
Business, the business and industrial development.
Yes.
Were you, is that you?
Yes.
Were you on that one?
Mhm.
Weren't you on that one?
I thought so. Because of CIC, yeah.
We can put you on that.
Got it.
Just because I'm here.
I'm just assuming I'm on all of them.
Pam, how about the, tree commission?
Yep, we're still here.
Do you have anybody that you wanna be included on that, or,
I guess I'd have to talk to the others on the committee, see. Yes, because one of us, we've lost one member that has passed. So we do need to.
Serious, I know.
okay, we'll get together.
Oh, Alvin.
There's also one hardwood spot that's.
Yes, and I talked to Val about that, and they're gonna probably make a decision on that on that.
You wanna do that?
This is our year. Okay. We're gonna share. So, I'm just asking here, but I thought back in the day, the zoning board was not council member, like we had a liaison with the zoning, and the zoning was comprised of community members. Is that changed?
That's the zoning board of appeals, I believe.
And, okay, and do we know who's on that?
Yes, but no, I
Okay.
don't.
Yeah, I think I've got that. I didn't include that on tonight's sheet.
I think the only one that's been active in the past couple of years is Eric Rodriguez.
Yeah, I know that he was on.
Your additions, subtractions, protestations?
I know me personally,
And to be honest, I'm not sure, do we,
We do need council approval.
yeah. So let's have a recommendation, a second, and we'll vote.
I'll move to approve committee appointments.
I'll second.
All right, Val?
Yep.
Mary?
Yes.
Loretta? Jerry?
I'm gonna abstain.
Derek?
Yes.
And Susie.
I'm gonna abstain also.
Okay, well then, hold on to your sheets and hold on to your hats. Anything from finance? Madam Chair? How about safety?
We did not meet in December, as I told you, we worked and we will be meeting this month sometime.
Chief, what you got?
Stand up for this one. If I could have everyone's attention here. On this date, January 9th, 2025, on behalf of the Forest Police Department, I would like to commend Auxiliary Officer Raylan Hur for providing 527.5 hours of dedicated service during the calendar year of 2024. Auxiliary Officer Hur's commitment to the Forest Police Department has proven beyond measure to be most beneficial in providing assistance and support to officers while also serving as a first-hand learning experience that will no doubt serve her in her future endeavors and a career in law enforcement. Auxiliary Officer Hur has been a welcome addition to the Forest Police Department and is a prime example of committed service to her community. And that is with sincere gratitude from myself. Asterisk to that, that's just since July.
Okay.
So, this is for her.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Do you wanna put that like right here?
Waste your mom.
Back to sit for the rest of this. Right. Take one of those and pass it around. Just some year-end statistics for 2024. The Forest Police Department had 2,684 call records, 260 traffic arrests, 34 criminal arrests with 4 pending, 2 of which are felonies. The average speed over the speed limit was 18 miles an hour over, and the auxiliary donated 712 hours since its creation in July, with an average of 119 hours per month. And we also did 25 call card inspections. For the month of December, we had 207 call records. Auxiliary had 145.75 hours. And I don't remember what that group is. 20 traffic arrests with 3 criminal.
You're busy.
We take pride in what we do, and
So all those rumors about you gave me a ticket for going 2 miles over the speed limit are bovine scatology.
that would bring my average way down, yeah. The average speed in, that was 137 and 35 zones, 13 speeds in 25 zones and 1 in a 15 mile an hour zone. So essentially, 35 zone, 53 miles an hour in a 35 zone. That's what the average speed is.
Good, well done.
Other than that, same old same.
Well, you just keep showing up. All right, don't see Doug here. Ambulance board, don't see, Mr. Administrator.
Just a quick update. Water treatment plant, the service pump has been fixed. Salt tank pump stopped working due to a level sensor. Artesian came out and fixed it quickly for us. Artesian's also gonna give us a quote for new control panels and VFD panels that control all the electronics in the water plant, including the level sensors, all the pumps that turn on and off, all the pumps that take it to and from the water tower. Lane Corp is also gonna schedule a meeting in regards to new wells, which are required by the EPA. Also met with Hempy Water to discuss our resin tank at the water plant. Hempy also took a sample of our resin to check its viability. So hopefully we can make some good upgrades to our water system. Sewer, that new pump is still on track for arrival. Its expected ship date is the 24th, and shipping is about 4 to 5 days, so hopefully by the 28th, 29th, it should be here. Service crews have been checking the water meters to get them working correctly. Last month, 85% of all the meters were reading. We are now at 87, but there are also 40 Rockwell meters that have to be read manually. They do not have the antennas or the sensors for us to pick them up. Annie's actually been coordinating with Corn Bain on the software side and with our service department to send them out to get the correct meters fixed. Roads, service has been doing their best to keep track of the weather here lately. The scheduled plowing and salting. I've actually come in a couple times at like midnight, 4 o'clock in the morning to try to get a head start on it. Depending on when the snowstorms do hit, we may only have one person starting to plow and salt, but we do try to hit it before or as the storms are hitting us. We try to hit the main roads first, including the roads with businesses, and then the main roads leading to those roads, and then finally the side streets and dead ends. All dead ends are being plowed. I can testify to this as I've done it 3 times now. Intersections are being salted the best we can with the amount of salt we have. We have had to purchase salt. EPA regulations restrict how and where we can store the salt. With the maintenance barn being by the wells, there's a certain feet limitation that we're allowed to store salt on the ground. However, we are looking at possibilities of containment to keep them down there and keep them in bulk. Other than that, I did have a casual talk with the Hardin County Dog Warden. While talking to him, I asked him what some of his challenges were. He said he's always looking for donations such as dog food, dog treats, leashes, collars, blankets, and beds for dogs. Also, adoption has slowed down a bit, which limits the room that he has for dogs. I would like to try to maybe help out and post to the citizens that if any of them would like to donate any of these items, that if they don't want to take it directly, that they could bring it here. And on behalf of them, we would then donate it to the dog warden. The council allows.
I don't see why there would be any objections to that.
Park board.
We haven't had our meeting yet. Our meeting is going to be the 19th with the service department. And hopefully we can get, discuss plans for the park and the scope of work that we wanna get done in this next year. We've also purchased 80 new resin chairs for the all-weather pavilion. And, we were wondering if there was a possibility of moving the old chairs to the west pavilion until we figure out what to do with them.
Is that the green one that's fully enclosed?
Yeah. There's, with the amount of chairs that are in there, it's probably gonna cause an issue with people out renting it. That's why we were wondering. Or at least move over the ones that are, like, if there's 80 of them that need to be,
that are bad, because the metal chairs are really bad.
I don't think I was here when they were delivered and taken down there. Do we know if they're separated, the old ones from the new ones?
Ask Renee.
No, they're still in the box.
Oh, they're still in the box? So
Yeah.
they're separated technically? Okay. That'll make it easier just
Yeah.
to find out which ones are which then.
Yeah, well, the new ones are resin,
Okay.
they're not metal.
So you want all the old ones taken out then?
Well, at least the amount, like 80 for 80, you know what I mean? We need to keep, may have to keep some of them in there for right now
Are
until we
those,
get new.
just a question, are they like hung up on one side or?
They're hung up on the rack. The old ones are hung up on
That's
the
what I'm
metal
saying,
ones.
is would you want us maybe just take half the side of them, half of them, and get them out of there?
I suppose that'd probably be okay. Just kind of look through them because some of them, the chair, the seat itself is dented, the bottoms are bad, you know, so. We have those, and then, of course, the service meeting is the 19th here at council chambers,
What time?
9:30.
Service.
Well, we have that meeting on the 19th, I'd like to schedule another meeting next week. We have some other issues to discuss. I'm suggesting the 14th, if Val and Susie could do that. 6 if possible. Or if you guys wanna do it a little bit earlier.
I can do as soon as 4:30, so.
Okay, well, tentatively 5 on the 14th, if the idea would be.
What time?
We can change it, tentatively, it's gonna be.
5 o'clock on the 14th.
On the 14th.
Okay.
Hey, Market Square.
We're just waiting to hear what you guys found out about insurance before we put a calendar out for the following year.
I sent some to Tudor, in regards to insurance. Talking to insurance, they are covered. However, in the past, what they prefer is that with the owners, of the other 2 parcels, they would like a lease agreement signed, can be for $1. Basically, that alleviates them of any issues, anybody come back on them and puts us fully in responsibility for it.
Okay, are you guys gonna draw that up for us?
So I'm gonna get back with the insurance, cause they have templates, from what I was told, they have not sent them to me, so I'll get back on them again. I actually just talked to Tudor today about some of it. If not, correct me if I'm wrong, you said you might be able to get one up, and it's a matter of contacting them.
Yeah, we were just having a conversation today earlier about, kind of stealing my thunder a little bit, but that's okay. It's about the, figuring out who owns what over there and who will need to get on this lease, because I think the one individual who may not be available right now for reasons that aren't too important right now, but we use his electric, and then the other property is this LLC, and so if they have a, form that they're happy with, we can look at that and use it at least as a base and tweak it the way we want it to, but yeah, so we're gonna work on that. That's in the process, but.
That's covered all the time or just during our events?
Well, I talked about that. I talked about whether it should be a license for the known events or just all the way. It sounds like they may want it just a lease, like a general all year long lease, and again, for a nominal fee.
Cause from my understanding, you guys mow it, take care of it, put everything out on it, so even though you have events on specific days, it's technically always being used, especially with decorations and whatnot.
Yeah, well, then that's what we worried about going forward as Market Square. We don't necessarily want the conception that we own the land, so we're a little worried about going forward, like doing actual things on that property, like, that it gives the impression that it's ours, and so people can just go do whatever they want, you know what I mean, like.
From what
so we were
insurance said, you
worried.
are covered, they would just prefer this as a catch-all to make it better, to,
Right.
to stop any other types of litigations on their end.
Right.
And again, like you said, we do it for certain days, but again, you guys put decorations out that are there year round.
Right.
If they trip over a hay bale in
Exactly.
October,
whose fault is it then?
Right.
Right, that's why that
Yeah.
question.
So we're gonna see what they propose, what they've used in the past that they're happy with, we're gonna make sure we're happy with it, and I think we can get something done, it won't be that hard to do.
Okay.
Dave,
Yes.
we also are down a park board member.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I talked to Valerie about that, and she said they were gonna work on that on the meeting on the 19th.
Okay.
Have you put anything out asking if anybody wants to volunteer? Just,
We weren't sure how to do that because it's the council appointed, or the town appointed, however that is.
Yeah.
It's council appointed, so,
yeah, mayor appointed and council approved.
Yeah.
I wonder if we should put a post out for full transparency saying there's a vacant spot. If anybody's interested, to submit a letter, and then park board can review and offer up who they think would be the best fit.
Yep.
I mean,
I
is
think
that,
that'd be a good process.
Makes sense.
who left out of curiosity?
Dustin?
Oh, his term was up?
Yes. Okay, business, industrial, economic development.
As it says, we met this week actually with both Hardin and Wyandotte County Chambers. Both meetings were very productive, and both counties are willing to work with us on, promoting anything we want, any part of the village that we want to promote. They actually offer help on several different issues. Just depends on where we want to go. The only thing that, I think right now you probably need to know is that after both meetings, it was pretty much agreed that everybody thought that we needed to, restructure, that's not the right word, what am I looking for? Was that the word? Restructure the way things are laid out. And, what I mean by that is that there's the park board, there's, the Market Square, there's the CIC, and then there's the Economic Development Committee, and it's come up in many different ways. What issue does each one cover, and whose responsibility it is? And so that everybody knows if this issue comes up, it falls under this committee, so that we're not all doing the same thing and walking on each other's toes. And also, because there's been a lot, just for example, the Christmas decorations, who's responsible? I mean, it just got kind of crazy about. So, that's the one thing we know for sure that, everybody agrees needs to be done. The follow-up to that is, Andrew, that, we wanted to know if, you can't answer the question now, but if you could follow up with the committee and let them know what legally, or if there are boundaries that you can tell us as far as how it goes and who's responsible for what.
Good, I'll talk to you about that, we'll talk about that.
And that's, all for it now.
Zoning.
You want CIC too? Information from CIC. Meeting is next Wednesday at noon at the library. Projects we have going on now is a Welcome to Forest sign coming in from 53. The gentleman that was going to let us put it on, part of it on his property, withdrew that. So we do have another source over in the same area. I need to get Andrew the plot numbers and stuff so he can rewrite that, but that's not something that's gonna get done before spring, obviously. So I think that was pretty much the big things in CIC. What's that?
Business banners.
Oh, yeah, streetlight banners. That's a fundraising project for CIC, and they've got information and cost on that to do business sponsors for those. So that'll be discussed more at the CIC meeting.
You're gonna get 3 different ones, winter, spring, and fall.
I think they're gonna do one, so you don't have to change them 3 times. It'll be just like a year.
Dean,
a year thing.
I received something in the mail in regards to banners. I don't think they're custom, they're generic for the seasons, but they have a couple different ones and they have them at discounted prices if you'd like to take a look at some point.
Yeah, I'll get the information from you. I know she's got information for local business, customize them with the business name and stuff on.
Just please put the whole on the side.
And we do still have benches. I've got 4 more benches for downtown, and I think the next is try to get some picnic tables for Market Square for that. That's not CIC, but that's
What do the sponsored benches go for?
375 of that goes to Marcus, is that right? Goes to Market Square, the rest goes into manufacturing.
But how much are they total?
300 total.
Okay.
For the benches or picnic tables?
So we don't know anything on the picnic table work, they're still trying to come up with some ideas, so that's.
Where do you buy them from?
The benches are
Getaway Workshop?
built by Getaway Workshop.
Okay.
With lumber and stuff up from local places. I mean, Fry Hardware is pretty much where you get most of the stuff.
He's not just a liquor shop down there.
Okay. Human resources.
We did not meet. However, we are still working on the employee handbook.
Never ending.
Yes. 2025 is our year. We're going to. It will last, it will be the last thing I do, yes. Yes.
All right. Andrew?
Well, other than the, usage information we already talked about, I did speak with Derek about a couple things. He has some good ideas I think aren't quite ready for consumption yet, but we discussed a few things about that. I didn't know if, you guys wanted to think about the ambulance district.
Oh, you mean you can see me?
Yeah. Yield my time maybe for the ambulance district a little bit.
Do you want to tell? You can.
No, yeah, I don't remember as well as you do. You tell me. I know they had a very good another month. Their responses are very.
November and December, our run misses are reducing significantly. I think December was 29 runs and they missed 8. And that included a lot of the holiday and, some of the people were out of town for vacation. So, we're hitting our mark a lot closer than what we had been. And we have 2, applicants that are getting ready to start classes.
Okay. We go on pretty much any runs that we're able to assist, and a lot of times, I think Sean can say the same, we kind of placate a little, like, you know, you gotta realize they're volunteers, this is a bad shift change time, you know, and people actually, they understand, they're not mad that they have to come from BKP, because they realize it's pretty much a volunteer service. So, if that means anything. That's a service keeper Friday. Oh, I forgot that on the statistic. One door.
How many doors have you
Wait a minute,
this year?
Chief.
Two.
I seem to recall from the last time I was on council, the solicitor was like a yearly contract or something. Is that still the case? Do we need to do that?
I'll get one ready.
Okay. Sorry,
You are correct, that is correct.
I just thought of that as this year, I wondered if we
Pro
need
bono.
to do that contract.
So I don't have to pay you.
I just have nothing better to do, I just like to do it.
Just likes to come and hang around the forest.
That's it. Nice time. Nice place to be.
Ms. Fiscal Officer.
Just quick, working on Republic, to get the commercial contract. They've also approved a refund. I'm waiting on a response of when I will be receiving that. Ms. Val, will you still be, we gotta get that letter out for commercial.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you did. So if you could get that to Ms. Val, it'd be great. We did receive a small refund from G-Work since we haven't gone live to the new system yet. I'm working on closing out the end of the year books. I plan on meeting with all the department heads to go over the budget. I did some of that today and I will be attending the next park board meeting. I do need, approval for, so it's up there, all the reallocations for 2024. I know we did last month, but there was other reallocations that needed to be completed to finish out 2024. so I think Dave has it. So it's the same sheet we had last time, if you look towards the end, there, or did I give it to Derek? I gave it to somebody up there.
I don't think I got it.
Derek, were you in charge of that one?
I think so.
Well, maybe I still have it. Let's be honest, I'm losing my mind. I don't have it. No.
Who's the lucky winner?
Who's the winner of the 11 pages of fun? I can print it out again, but.
I have a financial worksheet.
No, so I gave you a copy of the budget and I broke it down into the different, so you all have a copy of it. Also gave you, cash summaries for the end of the year. Is that it? No, I'll just print out a new one and we'll start.
Several pages for that.
Let me see. No, that's the budget. I swear I gave it to Dave.
Not that I got in front of me.
I'll redo it. I'll print it out, but I just want you to look it over. There it is. Winner chicken dinner. Oh, that sounds good. Okay. For you, yes.
I would start.
And that's all I have. If you wanna look it over and somebody could possibly motion or approve those, it'd be great.
And these just need a motion.
I haven't seen it, that's not in the.
Correct, the new ones you had approved last time, if you look on the last 2 pages are the new reallocations that I had to do to finish out the year. And basically what that, it's just to move the items, because this amount wasn't there and it was over here, we weren't using just to pay salaries and bills.
I'll motion.
You think this is the end of them?
It should be.
That our 2024 books are closed.
Well, they're not pushed yet, they're getting there, but yeah, it should be good.
Is this gonna be an audit year, 2024?
Yeah, it's not gonna be pretty, you all
You're welcome,
come
Derek.
visit me.
You have to sign off on that as the president.
And it's the big audit.
It's the audit.
It's the full audit.
Thank you for your service. I did that in 2022, so you're welcome.
It should be pretty cleared up, I mean. It's not, with all that
I mean,
Mr. Ford did change and everything. And
I mean, yeah, but there were still errors from it's from 23 and 24 and, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
because they audit every other year.
So things will be hopefully going forward, 2025, you know, with what we cleaned up, but some stuff we couldn't.
Definitely gonna have to walk me through it for us.
That's fine.
Call you when we talk through it.
Did anybody second it?
No.
I'll second it.
All right. Mary,
Yes.
Derek,
Yes.
Susie,
Yes.
Jerry, Beth,
Yes.
Loretta,
Yes.
thank you. That's all I have.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second
You don't need a second. Just need to run.
Motion.
If there's no second, I don't know.
And the second, no vote.
Just to give it a formal time of ending.
That is so weird to me.
Coming at you, Jay.
Huh?